I call to order the regular meeting of the Lakewood City Council of October 12th, 2015. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Murphy.
Here.
Shakti.
Here.
Kellen. Johnson.
Here.
Wickman. Paul. Harrison.
Here.
Quinn.
Here.
Coop.
Here.
Fairway. Roybal.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. As always, I'd like to thank everyone for choosing to take part in your local government by coming out tonight to visit with us live in Chambers or watch us at home, either live on Channel 8 or on our website, lakewood.org. That civic participation actually started a little bit earlier tonight with our open house on the Federal Center Station neighborhood, and we had quite a few people over there just to come in and ask questions and try to find out everything they can. So we appreciate folks coming out for that, too. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silent prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Will the clerk please read item 4 into the record? And as I'm making my way to the podium, I would ask Julia Kirkpatrick, the chair of our Planning Commission, to join me.
Item 4, Proclamation, Community Planning Month.
So this is an opportunity we get to do every year, which is to recognize the importance of planning in providing a roadmap, a blueprint for our community's future. And we're going to do that starting off by asking our council president, who is so good at reading proclamations, to read a proclamation into the record recognizing October 2015 as Community Planning Month.
Recognizing October 2015 as Community Planning Month, whereas change is constant and affects all cities, suburbs, and counties, and whereas community planning can help manage this change in a way that provides better choices for how people work and live, and whereas community planning provides an opportunity for all residents to be meaningfully involved in making choices that determine the future of their community, and whereas October is designated at the you jinxed me,
Put the
Mayor.
pressure on, I know, sorry.
October is designated as National Community Planning Month, and whereas the American Planning Association and its professional institute, the American Institute of Certified Planners, endorse National Community Planning Month as an opportunity to highlight the contributions sound planning and community plans make to the quality of our lives, and whereas the celebration of National Community Planning Month gives Lakewood the opportunity to publicly recognize the participation and dedication of the members of the Planning Commission, professional planners, and community members who contribute their time and expertise to the improvement of Lakewood. Go Planning Commission. Now, therefore, on behalf of the City Council and the people of Lakewood, I, Bob Murphy, Mayor of the City of Lakewood, Colorado, by the virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby recognize October 2015 as Community Planning Month in the City of Lakewood in conjunction with the celebration of National Community Planning Month, given under my hand and seal, the City of Lakewood, this 12th day of October 2015. Bob Murphy, Mayor.
Thanks, Karen. You know, I spoke briefly here about the importance of planning. You know, 3 of us on City Council, yourself, Tom Quinn, and I were all members of the Planning Commission. We have we've always had a very strong Planning Commission through the years. Obviously, an extraordinary planning staff as well. There's a mention in this proclamation of community members who contribute their time and expertise to the improvement of Lakewood, and think about the tradition we have here of civic engagement in developing all of our plans, right? And you've been at the helm of some of those efforts. You think about Belmar. You think about the property that we're sitting on now. You think about our zoning ordinance, which was a 3.5-year citizen engagement process. You think about our sustainability plan, our comprehensive plan. It's in our DNA to get our residents and our business owners involved. So this recognition is for them as well. Julie, as chair of the Planning Commission, it's my honor to give this to you.
Well, thank you very much. Tomorrow night, over at the Civic Center, yes, I'm short, sorry. Over at the Civic Center, there's going to be a movie, The Great Divide, and it's talking about water and living in a semi-arid area like we do, and better ways to use it. So it's tomorrow at 5:30. There'll be a reception, and then the movie will start at 6:30. The director of the movie is going to be there, and he'll be there to do a question and answer session with us after the movie. So please come and enjoy. It's free. It's only available as long as the seats are there, so come on over and enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I do believe it's a Lakewood director for that movie as well.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
All right. This is the point in the meeting where the public is invited to address City Council on items that do not appear on the council agenda. I ask that all in attendance tonight observe the decorum of chambers, and refrain from audible support or discord with the speaker. There is a 3-minute time limit per speaker, and the indicator lights are green, yellow, and red here. They'll be green the first 2.5 minutes. When it turns yellow, you know that you have 30 seconds left. When it turns red, we would ask you to wrap up your comments. And again, this is on non-agenda items, and I'll address the Federal Center in a little bit when we get to some of those first reading ordinances, but we're not taking public comment on the Federal Center tonight either. That would include during this portion of it. So, James Mace. James? Oh, there you are. Thought I saw you earlier. Of course, James, as always. Take your time.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. I'm here tonight on a major concern. I have noticed that the City of Lakewood does not have a curfew ordinance for kids under 18. I have also noticed that the kids in my area, in the area that I live in, are 4, 5, sometimes even 2 years old, and they've been outside since till 3 o'clock in the morning. I come home at some nights at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, they're still outside. I've contacted dispatch a few times. I've contacted Commander Hebner on it, and she's told me to call dispatch. I have also gone and looked at the city's ordinances, and all it is a nuisance ordinance. And I am asking council to look at the times that they are allowed to be out, which, from what I'm gathering, is 11 to 6 a.m. on weekdays and midnight to 6 a.m. on weekends. I'm really concerned with ICCS being right across the street from me, and I'm really concerned because these kids are throwing rocks at my window, at my front window, at upwards of till 3 o'clock in the morning. So I am asking council to look at the times for this to be done, and I'm also asking that council, if they see fit, to please do something about this because this is a major concern. Thank you.
Thanks, James. And just as a quick comment, we'll ask Angela Klein, our Citizens Outreach Coordinator, to get back with Mr. Mace. We do, of course, have as I think he alluded to, we do have a curfew, a juvenile nighttime loitering ordinance. So we'll just make sure that he knows that and do our best to enforce it when he and others call. All right, Michael Bida. How'd I do on that?
Great. Exactly right. Thank you, Your Honor. I'm here this evening. I wanted to talk about high-density development in the city of Lakewood. And I recognize that it is going to implicate, to some extent, the Federal Center project. So I want to be upfront with you. That's what I want to talk about, the high-density.
Talk about high density in general.
Yes.
There's no plan for the Federal Center yet, so.
Okay. All right, fine. Again, my name is Michael Bida. I live at 1320 South Uruguay Street in Ward 3. Have for the past 15 years. I grew up here in Lakewood, went to school here. I'm a lawyer by education and profession, and I have an office in Belmar. I've appeared before City Council in the past, not with great success, but I'm back again. Thank you for this opportunity, members of City Council. I'm concerned about the high-density development that's going on here in the city of Lakewood. Let me mention a couple things. According to the Jefferson County records, we have 600 new residences that are going to be coming online at Green Gables in the near future. Their sales will be starting sometime this spring of those units. 300 of those units are going to be considered high-density units, and the rest are going to be single-family type units. Also, there was a recent sale, as you all probably all know, in Belmar to a new developer of the Belmar shopping center. And in the course of that, it was disclosed that there are 35 acres still to be developed in Belmar. And while we don't know, I don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but I think there's a pretty good chance that's going to be high-density development as well. And it could be as many as 500, 600, 700 units, in addition to Green Gables. These, along with other developments, high-density developments that are going on in and around the city of Lakewood, are going to have significant impact on Lakewood's infrastructure, our roads, our services, and so forth. Not to mention, for example, Wadsworth, Jewell, Pierce, Kipling, Highway 285, 6th Avenue. Those are all going to be highly impacted. I also want to mention another concern I have about this high density, not talked about very much, and that is water. As you know, it's a scarce commodity, becoming more scarce every day. I don't have to tell you what's going on in Southern California. They get most of our water from the Colorado River and from our western slope. If they continue to experience the droughts that they are having now, you can expect that we're going to have a mighty push politically, legally, economically, and any other way you can imagine to get more of our water to Southern California. It's going to have an impact on the Front Range, and it's going to have an impact on Lakewood. There's only so much of that water to go around, and the question is, how are we going to provide water to these additional units that we continue to bring online in Lakewood? The fact of the matter is the rest of the residents of Lakewood become at risk for water shortage and water rationing and higher water rates as these developments continue. So in closing, I would like to say I'd like for the city to take another hard look at the high-density development in all stages and give a serious consideration to step back from that, and let's just see where we end up with all of the high density that we've got going on right now. Let's step back, take some time, and then see where it leads us. before going any further on any more projects. Thank you.
Thank you. Cindy Guff. Oh, I didn't notice.
Good evening. My name is Cindy Goff. I live at 10850 West Glennon Drive, and I'm here for not quite such a weighty issue. It's kind of an annoyance, but I'm frustrated as to where to go, and it is the parking of semi-trucks along the Alameda Frontage Road between Nelson and Quail. This has been going on since at least May of 2013, and over the last month to 6 weeks, almost every day there is at least one or two semi-trucks parked there. They have absolutely no connection to any of the businesses along there. On my way here tonight, there's a King Soopers delivery truck parked there. It was also there all day yesterday. And then there's a green cab with a white trailer. Well, the cab is gone, but the trailer's still there. So it's been there for 3 days now. There's an Allied Van Lines truck, and I've gone back and forth between the police department and code enforcement. Code enforcement says, call the police department. The police department says it's a code enforcement issue. And code enforcement says, well, there's nothing that can be done because to the letter of the law, it's legal. You can park a semi-truck for a certain amount of time on a public road in Lakewood. But it's for places like Starbucks on Union Boulevard. There's no place to put a semi-truck. So when they get their deliveries, the truck stops on Union Boulevard, they unload the things, and they're gone. These people are using the frontage road like a truck stop. And I'm frustrated and I don't know where to go. So I was wondering if City Council or who's ever in charge could address the zoning code for a change that people can't come and just park their semi-truck on the road. I mean, granted, it's a commercial district, but it's only 1 block off of our residential neighborhood, and leave their Allied Van Lines moving truck there, or their Walmart truck. The Walmart truck's been there almost all week. And so that's why I'm here tonight.
Thank you. You came to the right place to bring it to our attention, at least. We appreciate it, Cindy. Thanks. Anyone else wish to comment on a non-agenda item? With that, I'll close public comment, and just one quick response to Mr. Beda. You did mention Green Gables a couple of times. You know that's not in the city of Lakewood. Okay, thanks. Councilor Paul.
Yeah, I just 2 quick follow-ups. Cindy, thanks for coming out. In fact, one of those trailers didn't even have a tractor connected to it when I came down today. It was just sitting there. So, was it there this morning? Yeah. I think it's definitely something, and when we did the RV ordinance, that was really what we were looking at, was the same deal. People just parking RVs on the streets, and it became de facto storage. So, I think down the road it's definitely worth trying to get some relief there. And then also down the road, it might be nice to do a study session with Denver Water and have them come out. I know Denver Water really is responsible for us, and they have an area of service that they will provide, and they don't provide beyond that area. We are within that. So it might be nice for the residents to get a better understanding of how Denver Water deals with water and growth.
That's a great idea. Thank you. All right. We will move on to the consent agenda. The use of the consent agenda has been made to expedite council action. It contains both resolutions and first reading ordinances. Resolutions are normally items of a routine nature, and members will have an opportunity in a moment to comment on the proposed resolutions. I'm going to spend a minute on this next section. First reading ordinances appear on the agenda only for the purpose of setting future public hearing dates and ordering the newspaper publication of the proposed ordinance. So therefore, no public comment will be heard this evening on first reading ordinances. The public will have an opportunity to comment on the proposed ordinances during the scheduled public hearings on the dates set tonight by City Council. And again, that's something we've done throughout our history. First reading ordinances are for purpose of notification and publication. We don't take comment on it because of that expectation that there is no comment on first reading ordinances. It simply would not be fair to open it up because it's just it's not a level playing field. A lot of folks are not here tonight because they know the rules. So, all right, any council member may request an item on the consent agenda be removed for separate discussion and action under general business. Will the clerk please read the items on the consent agenda into the record?
The consent agenda consists of items 6 through 12. Item 6, Resolution 2015-53, supporting the Jefferson County Library mill levy increase on the November 3, 2015 ballot. Item 7, Resolution 2015-54, authorizing an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Lakewood and the Colorado Department of Transportation for the Lakewood-Jeffco Bike Wayfinding Study. Item 8, Resolution 2015-55, authorizing use of Lakewood's credits pursuant to Xcel Energy's franchise to bury electric distribution lines along West 14th Avenue from Lamar Street to Harlan Street. Item 9, Resolution 2015-56, authorizing use of Lakewood's credits pursuant to Xcel Energy's franchise to bury electric distribution lines along Wadsworth Boulevard from Highland Drive to West 10th Avenue. Item 10, Resolution 2015-57, authorizing use of Lakewood's credits pursuant to Xcel Energy's franchise to bury electric distribution lines along Quail Street from West Rail Road to West 15th Place. Item 11, Ordinance O-2015-17, concerning the refunding of certain outstanding certificates of participation issued to finance the acquisition, construction, and equipping of a civic center project and the issuance of certificates of participation to finance certain capital improvements, authorizing the execution and delivery by the city of a lease agreement and a site and improvement lease agreement, approving the form of certain related documents, ratifying action previously taken in connection therewith, authorizing supplemental appropriations to the 2015 annual budget and the transfer of supplemental funds from the general fund to the capital improvements fund, and providing other matters relating thereto. Item 12, Ordinance O-2015-18, authorizing an agreement to sell approximately 59 acres of land to the Lakewood Reinvestment Authority.
Thank you. Councilor Wickman.
I'd like to pull items 11 and 12.
All right. Items 11 and 12 are pulled and will be considered under general business. I will now open public comment on the consent agenda, absent items 11 and 12, since they will be dealt with under general business. Mr. Bida? Oops. Apparently, he may have thought signed up on the wrong roster. I think he's gone. All right, Charlie? And then anyone else? Charlie's the only one who signed up. Anyone else in chambers who wish to comment on any of the items on the consent agenda, absent the two relating to the Federal Center, will welcome after Charlie.
I'm Charlie Abel, Ward 1. This may be the most brief I will ever be at this microphone. But item 6, supporting the Jefferson County mill levy increase, library mill levy increase on the November 3rd ballot. I'm not generally in favor of tax increases. I love this one. Libraries produce knowledge, and to edit a phrase, knowledge is empowering. Please pass this resolution.
Thank you. I think Rebecca's heart skipped a beat, Charlie. You want to come on down?
I didn't really prepare remarks for this, but I am just so grateful that you were taking this under advisement, because I think it is so important.
You want to identify yourself? Sorry.
Rebecca Winning.
Thanks.
So important for the community, not just for Lakewood, but for all of Jefferson County, for us to be able to provide a competitive level of library service to prepare our kids to be successful in school and to be college and career ready, to help our businesses succeed, and to give all of our residents a place to come together in community for their personal growth and the benefit of the community. So I just am very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in chambers wish to comment on any item on the consent agenda? All right, we'll close public comment. I'm ready for a motion on the consent agenda. Oh, well, we'll deal with the light after. Did you want to talk, Dave? Well, let's do the motion in a second. Dave, I'm not sure if I turned on the light after. Okay, cool.
Mayor Murphy, I move for council to adopt all resolutions, all of which are included in the consent agenda items introduced into the record by the city clerk.
Nicely done. Second. All right, we have a motion and a second. Pretty fast on your feet there. Councilor Johnson.
Thank you. Rebecca, today my daughter took my little granddaughter to the toddler's read time at the library. She couldn't say enough good things about it. It is an awesome program. Thank you. Awesome.
Dave?
Yeah, like Charlie, I'm usually not a fan of taxes, but when it comes to libraries, always a soft spot. So, yeah, I'm in favor of it, and I hope everybody will be voting for it.
All right, I think the language in the resolution itself goes a long way to describing the bullet points of why this is such a crucial improvement for all residents of this county. And I had the honor of serving on a Citizens Advisory Committee as the board began their process of potentially looking at putting this on the ballot. I can tell you the due diligence was done. The board reached out to the community before they made the decision and got an extensive amount of community feedback. And I thank you for all that proactive pre-work that was done. Yeah, it's not just time, it's past time. Libraries are just too important. So I, too, will be supporting that resolution. All right, please cast your votes on the consent agenda. And it passes unanimously. Thank you. Just made Rebecca very happy. All right. Will the clerk please read item 13 into the record?
Item 13, Ordinance O-2015-16, repealing Chapter 5.46 of the Lakewood Municipal Code regarding amusement devices and amusement arcades.
All right. I'll now open the public hearing on this item. There is no staff presentation. No one's indicated a desire to speak. Would anyone in chambers wish to comment on item 13? All right, with that, I'll close public comment. I'm ready for a motion.
Mayor Murphy, I move for the adoption of Ordinance O-2015-16 on second and final reading.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions?
Yeah, government sometimes repeals laws. Here we are tonight doing it.
Yeah.
From 1980.
We're not just making new laws unnecessarily, I think is one of your points there. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, please cast your votes. And that too passes unanimously. All right, on to general business. Tim, I have to ask this. Do I need to ask Michelle to read them into the record again, one by one?
Each one as they come up, yeah.
So, okay. All right, Michelle, you did perfect on your first run through, but let's start with item 11, if you can read that one back into the record.
Sure. Item 11, Ordinance O-2015-17, concerning the refunding of certain outstanding certificates of participation issued to finance the acquisition, construction, and equipping of a civic center project and the issuance of certificates of participation to finance certain capital improvements, authorizing the execution and delivery by the city of a lease agreement and a site and improvement lease agreement, approving the form of certain related documents, ratifying action previously taken in connection therewith, authorizing supplemental appropriations to the 2015 annual budget and the transfer of supplemental funds from the general fund to the capital improvements fund, and providing other matters relating thereto.
All right. So we're back into the record on item 11. We will not have public comments, so I am, how do I do this? Ready for a motion, I guess. How do I do this? On an ordinance.
As with any other ordinance, after the public comment or no public comment, you would have the motion read, and then there could be discussion.
Right.
To the extent discussion is allowed on first reading.
Right. So I am ready for a motion on item 11.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. What is the motion?
Well, I think we need to hear from Councilor Wickman first.
Well,
Pulling it.
You have a motion to approve this item separately from the consent agenda.
Right.
As if it weren't on the consent agenda at all, you'd have a motion to approve, and then there's the opportunity for discussion or further motions.
Just say motion to approve ordinance.
Okay. I move for approval of Ordinance O 2015-17 on first reading.
Second.
All right. Motion and a second. Councilor Wickman, you pulled it.
Okay. I don't think we have to automatically put these things in the first and second reading format that we're looking at tonight. We have the discretion of putting this off to a future date. And it's been my overwhelming consensus that everybody I've spoken to pretty much agrees that we need to be taking more time on this Denver Federal Center purchase plan. What I would like to do is give the community a couple months to mull this over. I would like them to take it to the Planning Commission. I would like the Planning Commission to mull this over. I would like to go to the planning session, the planning retreat that the new council will do at the beginning of next year. As part of that planning retreat, we should look at this. So therefore, I would like to postpone this until February of next year when we have a new council seated. So with that in mind, I would urge that we vote no and not put this on the agenda for 2 weeks from now.
Councilor Harrison.
My concern on this would be having previously sat on the Planning Commission. Usually the reason why the Planning Commission would see this is if there were going to be a change in the zoning. Currently it's zoned for MCT, so mixed use, core transportation, which, you know, you'd have to have a plan from a developer or a plan, you know, to be brought before the Planning Commission before the Planning Commission could vote or do any changes. So, Dave, I'm not sure I get why the Planning Commission.
Right. What she's saying is there is no request from a landowner for a change in land use. And
well, I think the Planning Commission has on a number of occasions done kind of a study, like comp plan and things like that, where there's not a specific item before them, but that they can give us their wisdom in general terms. But in any case, whether you want to take the Planning Commission out of this or not, still the point is it should be committed to the next council that actually has to fund and implement and make all this stuff happen. So it's up to them. They should have the opportunity to be voting on this. And of course, again, if we're going to ask the people to come up with $25 million, that's what they have to give up. You know, I think, what did we say that was? $172 a person. If we're asking them to give up those services, you know, they can't have quite as many police. They can't have as many parks. If we're asking them to give this up, they need to have some buy-in. And at this point, 5 weeks is just not an adequate buy-in. So any way you look at it, like I say, we need to be sending this next year to the next council.
I have a comment, but Councilor Paul first.
So I would just go back a couple things there. The Planning Commission has approved every process and every plan that has taken place out there on the Federal Center property. So there has been involvement from the Planning Commission. Secondly, I would just emphasize one clarification, and I don't know if Councilor Wickman misspoke, but there will be no services affected by the city going into any sort of purchase. There'll be no police or getting rid of police to purchase land. I mean, this is things that the city has budgeted for years. We do have a public hearing set for the 26th, and I think it's important to go forward and still have that public hearing. There were folks there tonight who were able to come to an open house, and I know some of them said that they were going to try to get back, you know, to me after this open house and see what kind of questions they had going forward.
Councilor Quinn? No?
I think Councilor Paul said it all.
Right.
Thank you.
All right. I can't help but notice a certain amount of irony. Councilor Wickman didn't seem to think the Planning Commission could handle a special use permit case a few weeks ago, so that's apparently has changed his tune. Ramey?
If this needs a second, I'd like to second it. I think it's worthy of a vote.
It does not need a second. The motion has been seconded. And if there's no more discussion, the motion is for approval of the ordinance on first reading.
Right. That motion was seconded. I think if I understood Councilor Johnson, she was thinking that perhaps Councilor Wickman had made
an amendment. There is no amendment. So if council members wish to move this forward to second and final reading, the vote would be yes. If they wish to not move it forward, the vote would be no. Please cast your votes. And the motion carries 5-4. The nays are Johnson, Wickman, Paul, and Roybal. All right, item 12. Would you please read?
Does she need to read it?
Yeah,
into
please
the
read
record?
item 12 into the record.
Item 12, Ordinance O-2015-18, authorizing an agreement to sell approximately 59 acres of land to the Lakewood Reinvestment Authority.
Is there a second?
No, that was a reading into the
Oh, I was reading into the record. Now I'm ready for a motion. Sorry, I was distracted by a sidebar conversation here. Not that I've never done that.
Mayor Murphy, I move for the to pass Ordinance O 2015-18.
Is there a second? All right, we have a motion and a second. Discussion, I assume it's the same. All right. Any other discussion? If not, please cast your votes. And again, a yes vote is to move it forward to second and final reading, and a no vote is to not do so. So this one passes 6-3. The noes are Johnson, Wickman, and Roybal. All right. We took care of any other general business, Michelle?
I have general business. I never follow up.
Pardon me?
I have a follow-up on that.
Okay.
On that last procedure, and for clarification, I voted wrong, in my opinion, on the very first go. And there should have been I think Councilor Wickman was trying to make a motion to move it forward to February with Councilor Johnson seconding that. However, there was confusion in we were just being allowed to vote for up and down on approval of that. And I will clarify my vote that I would like to see that go forward to second reading on the 26th.
Okay. Not the first time that's happened. Any general business, Michelle? No? Councilor Wickman?
Yes. I'd like to make a motion. Resolve that neither the current mayor nor any current city council member may hereafter function in any capacity, whether compensated or voluntary, as an officer, director, or an employee for any supervisory board, such as, but not limited to, an urban renewal district or neighborhood authority that may be formed in connection with the development of the property referred to as Federal Center Station neighborhood.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Okay. That motion is out of order, but the concept is certainly worthy of discussion, given some of the rumors that I've heard. Given some of the rumors I've heard about today, we don't make that would qualify certainly at a minimum as a resolution, and we don't do those things on the fly. We need, in fairness, we need to have the rest of council and the community prepared for such a thing. And if you want to, as I've asked about another issue, come to our 4:00 meeting to meet with council officers and discuss such a thing and move it forward, you're welcome to do so. That invitation was extended to you as late as today's 4:00 meeting. You weren't able to make it. So there is a rumor out there I heard about today that I am going into the development business, and I am somehow going to profit from the Federal Center development. I know where that rumor came from. I will talk to the person that started it. I've known that person for a long time, and I wish he would have had at least the courtesy to give me a call about it. It's absolute nonsense, of course. Those are the things that happen sometimes when you're in elected office, particularly during election season. As I've said many times, there's a reason we call it silly season. So I sell food for a living. That's what I've always done. And I've had my own business, and I will be going back to my own business. So not involved in that development at all. I'm not in the development business. All right. So any other general business? All right. On to executive report. Anything, Kathy? Mayor and City Council reports? I don't have anything.
I do.
Okay.
I have two items that I want to remind everybody about. Ward 5 will be having our regular ward meeting this Saturday at 9:30 a.m. 9 o'clock. Sorry, I always forget. 9 o'clock at Bear Valley Church at 10001 West Jewel. And we have a very special guest that will be appearing that day. Won't talk about my ward mate, who it will be his swan song. So those of you that might want to come hear war stories or swan songs, we'd love to have you. We'll also have a neighborhood update. And the second thing that I wanted to talk about is this weekend is a wonderful opportunity to fill your closets. This is the best beautiful junk sale you will ever hear about in your life. The Action Center, this is its semi-annual clean out your closet and fill it back up again sale. We're at the fairgrounds, and we have 2 days this year, Friday and Saturday at the fairgrounds. Come one, come all, and bring boxes. You will love it. Thank you.
Thank you. What's the date and time? I may have to come heckle.
October 16th and for the ward meeting,
Yeah.
9 o'clock Saturday morning. Be there or be square.
Beautiful. Anything, Anna? No?
I do. Okay.
Well, go down the road. Pete? No? Scott? Tom?
Yes, thank you. The other thing that I'd like to hear from people on Saturday is just some of your ideas for Ward 5 for the future. If you're in Ward 5, what would you like to see? I mean, obviously, Jewel and Wadsworth is a thorn on our side and has been for a long time. We got to figure out something to do there. The question is, what do we want that to look like in the future? And we're not actively talking about that in the planning process yet, but it's one of the regrets that I have is that redevelopment hasn't taken place in any form yet, but it will. So I'd be interested in hearing some ideas. The other thing is I wanted to thank everybody who came out to Lakewood Cleanup Days the last 2 weeks. The city had an event, and then there was a separate concurrent event at the Rooney Road Recycling Center, which we had really overwhelming participation at. A lot of people came out to drop off their household hazardous waste and their tires, and it was just a really great thing to watch. While it was difficult because people had to wait longer, the fact that there are so many people that want to properly dispose of their household hazardous waste, that are worried about that ending up in the water supply. And thanks to them, and thanks to the people who came out to dispose of their waste properly, that material is never going to see a landfill. It's never going to see a river or a stream. It'll be recycled and disposed of properly. So thanks to everyone who came out. Thanks for your patience in waiting in line if you were there. But it was a very successful event. Thank you very much.
Dave? Ramey?
Thank you. This Saturday is Ward 1's meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning at St. Paul's Episcopal at 10th and Garrison. It'll be an open mic. The Federal Center is in Ward 1. It's an important issue. Please come, bring your thoughts, bring your concerns. We'll be writing them down. The city has reached out with the Looking at Lakewood and also a link. Read those, read everything you can get your hands on, and let's just talk, and I want to hear what's on your mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Shakti?
No report.
No? Tim? Kathy? All right. We're adjourned.
Probably shouldn't have mentioned it. But I said, I wonder if I should have mentioned Jewel and Wadsworth. That really is a place where I'd like to talk about what people